All right, everyone. Welcome back to Sully's Abode Locals. We're going to be doing OP10 post ban, is what I'm hearing. It's James, as always, and we have Alec here today,
How's it going?
also known as Kuma. If you guys haven't met him, topped a couple Treasure Cup, one Treasure Cup and one regional, I believe, right?
Top eight Treasure Cup and won one of the Peoria regionals last
There
year,
you go. Better than me. All I got to store regional.
and still regional.
Hey, yeah. Very interested to see what we're going to see today. Of course, if we are implementing the post bans, we're not going to see Jinbei. We might be seeing the jank Lucci list that I'm hearing is working as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are. I've been seeing are talking just about how innovating Lucci and Dofi going forward. I know Dofi's that are talking about cutting, well, not cutting, but replacing Jinbei for like Red Rocks and Kaidos. I believe the double bounce Kaido, just
Yeah.
for very end game tempo.
And I do like that over the draw Kaido since it does remove some of that pressure. But yeah, we're excited to see what we're going to see today. We will be going over to the players, and we are going to be seeing Beef Supreme and Jay. So both very good players. I know Beef Supreme was heavily playing Smoker, which did get hit on the ban list as well.
Yeah, without Ice Age, Smoker just doesn't really get those big numbers he wants. Oh, so we're looking at Bonnie
Oh.
Buggy. I like this.
So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Buggy seeing more of a presence now since it now has the promo Buggy, which essentially would have been great for the Doflamingo matchup. However, the ban list nerfed Doflamingo, so
Yeah.
we may or may not be seeing as much as we did previously.
I don't feel like Buggy has any commanding matchup other than obviously Dofi that people were talking about because obviously it just shuts down the whole engine of the deck. Decks like Bonnie don't tend to really care too much because it's so focused around 5 drops and up. So it's not affected by that promo Buggy. So one thing that the Buggy does have going for it, though, is that very consistent 10-drop Buggy removal. So if they always have like a situation where they need to remove like the Bonnies, if they Bonnie player drops like a Zoro or a Kid without Tashigi protection, you just kind of, for 5 down, you could get an easy just bottom deck removal. You give up 2 cards for that, unless you have that full board going for you. But Buggy has the tools to keep up with stuff, I definitely feel.
Yeah, having access to like Croc to play out another body, and as well as that 7, promo we were talking about can play out a 6, which is the Mihawk to draw and block her up.
Yeah, I think with like the amount of Dofis being reduced, probably wouldn't max out on that Buggy in the deck anymore like they would before because just only having that Buggy feels bad since it can't attack itself. But the rest of the bodies in the deck are always like 7Ks or higher, so just very good pressure it can build.
Oh yeah, and we do see swinging 8 at lead, resting this Mr. 3 here.
Yeah, so the one other thing Buggy has, and that's outside of the one search card, I'm not sure if Beef plays it, but I'm a fan of the one drop stage where you can filter 2 cards out of your hand every turn.
Oh, that was a very good card in pre-release.
Just for consistency purposes, for the deck to see what it wants. I know if you're seeing like low counter hand, you just ditch 2 non-counter, draw into it. So we'll see if Beef can start seeing those cards. And I believe Beef's on odd curve, right? So he gets his 5 Don turn to maybe get a really explosive turn going.
Yep. And we do see a Rouge being played on the Bonnie side, which I figured was going to start coming back up now that black isn't as prominent as before. It was easily removed previously, and then now it's just another way of getting a Dawn back.
Yeah.
And something that they have to answer as well.
No, absolutely. Because Rouge just has such a good way of keeping Bonnie with any strategy it wants for curve, just because you just get that free Don back for leader ability.
And especially after you establish, like, say, Cavendish and the new 5-cost Smoker, it's just extra Dawn that you're able to play with.
Yeah, Promo Buggy into 6-cost blocker Mihawk is very strong just because not only do you get the 2 board, you start building up the board requirement for the 10-drop Buggy, but you get a draw 2 ditch 1 filter, you have a 7K blocker. It's just the Mihawk's just a very powerful card.
Yeah. Not only that, it's now negating their Rouge. So if Jay wanted to put some type of pressure with it, he won't be able to now.
Yeah, they're just essentially just going to be sitting out there as a blocker for at some point of the game,
Mm-hmm.
or just to be a constant recursion of Don.
Looks like Jay is currently at 6 Don, so he could go with any of the normal Bonnie plays, which it being Carrot to Cavendish. Preferably, it's going to want to be Cavendish.
I wonder. I mean, if he has,
he does have the Cavendish there.
yeah, if he has the Cavendish. If he did have the Carrot, though, I do know that like here, he'd probably try to bait out a free block and then just kind of start stunning that Mihawk would be a good play. But if it's just a Cavendish play, I think he'll.
And here goes that 6K swing where he could potentially block with the Mihawk here.
Yeah, if he is doing the Cavendish play, it is a little odd because then I would then play the Cavendish first because then you get the full Don swing where even blocking with Mihawk would require a counter out of hand. But if he does have the Carrot to pivot into, this is a really good turn actually.
Yep,
Oh, there it
and
is.
there goes the Carrot. He did bait out the blocker.
It's fantastic.
Very good there for Jay. Beef
Yes.
Supreme was calculating that, but was unable to play around it.
So now, when I was testing Buggy, I personally did put Gravity Blades in my deck specifically for these matchups. So if we're seeing that at the 7 Don turn, then that'll be a very strong tempo for Beef. But we'll see what he does to play with here, because he essentially lost his only viable body on board as of right now. As long as that Carrot's out there, that Mihawk is never restanding.
Yeah. He could also go for a Croc play here as well to flood the board. And if he's got 10 drops, start removing these bodies off the field.
No, absolutely. Because Bonnie doesn't have a good way to remove the board once it's wide enough. And then the 10-drop buggies will just start coming out. Other decks will try to remove at least a body every turn just to make it awkward for Buggy player. Just Bonnie doesn't have those tools. So I guess that's one thing that Buggy does have an advantage of in this matchup.
Yeah, the removal Bonnie doesn't have, but it does have the wall. That being Kid with the Tashigi and Rosinante, once it's established, it is very difficult to get around it.
Yeah.
And Jay is ending up countering out for a 1K. And
a
here
Croc.
comes the Croc without using lead ability as well.
Yeah, if you're at
able
the
to
7
keep
down
that hand
turn, I don't
side.
think there's a point to give up that one card in hand because you just get that leader swing into the hard play. So.
Yep. But I believe that Mr. 1 is going to let him go up 1 in hand size too. I believe draw 2, trash 1.
For which card?
The Mr. 1 that he played off the Crocodile.
Oh, yes. It is. I mean, it just replaces itself, but yes, it does do the draw 2, trash 1 ability on play. It doesn't get its primary ability, which is the power per event in trash. Not that Buggy really plays many, but that's just because that is locked to Baroque Works.
It will play peel off, however. I have seen a lot of
Yes.
lists run the peel off, which is good, especially if you get it off of life. However, it does recycle your hand size.
And knowing Buggy players, I'm pretty sure 4 peel-offs are in Beef's life, so we'll see them all get triggered.
They got the Nami luck. Never fails. That card is a nightmare back in 03.
I mean, just a +1 in any capacity is just a good card. 3 Don's a little steep for most decks, but Buggy's game plan is so kind of linear that it actually has the ability to just use up the 3 Don at most given times to get that draw 2, because it's bleeding out so much hand with the leader ability.
Oh, yeah. Especially since you only need 5 Don to be able to use that ability.
Plus, Buggy also has the nice advantage for the deck building where it has just a nice healthy amount of 2K counter with just reliable bodies. Some decks struggle one way or the other to what they can search out. Just see Johnny in chat. Hey, Johnny.
Yeah, this matchup is absolute nightmare for Teach. I was playtesting with it. 10 drop just slaps down and it stays. Not fun at all.
Yeah, like the Buggy is just such a powerful card, but it has a very fair restriction to it where if you're just not getting the proper board state, it cannot last after the on play. But once it's out there and it gets the removal, it's a very powerful card.
Yeah. And you did see Jay swing 10 at the Mihawk there. I think that was a very good choice. Trying to remove that body, so preventing Beef here to play out that 10 drop.
Yeah, because now Buggy doesn't have any real way at a 9 Don to get that Buggy out. Normally at 10 you can by cheating out like a 5 and then the Buggy, but now it's... Beef's commenting on his Mr.
Oh, there's
One
that buggy
always
stage we were
getting
talking
arrested.
about earlier.
And now Beef's just going to have a very nice, consistent hand going.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that is a downside about the stage, though, is the fact you are forced to bottom deck 2 cards to draw 2. So sometimes you're forced to kind of get rid of cards that you don't ideally want to. So as a filter, it's strong, but it does have its drawbacks.
Yeah, and we do see a peel off in hand now. So currently he's at his, I believe, 8 Don left. So you could peel off, get an extra 2 cards, and still do leader ability and play out another body here.
And Beef definitely also wants to find ways to remove that carrot, because carrot in this deck specifically just has the ability to keep that board constantly rested. Beef can't really afford to ignore it at all. But with the Rouge blocker out, there's not like a very good number to swing into it.
Best way is with the 10 drop.
Yes. Yeah.
And we do see that peel off being used here. Drawing 2, trying to find other options here. Maybe he's trying to find a croc to be able to play something else out.
And there is, Buggy does also play a pretty strong character card in this matchup for, like, because Bonnie's whole game plan is to rest things and to swing into them. And they do play the Kabaji that can't be KO'd as long as you have a Buggy character on the board. So that is just a very sticky card that, like, is hard to remove just to keep your board, the 5-cost board condition out.
I didn't even know that was a card.
Yeah, it's a 2K, so you normally see them counter out with it, but in certain matchups, being able to not be KO'd in battle is pretty strong ability.
Makes it very sticky.
Yep.
And we do see now he's starting to pressure this carrot with the crocodile, which is the only thing that may not be rested by the carrot since it only checks a 6 cost. So croc is the most ideal thing.
I thought carrot checked 7 costs. Or
Does
lower.
it check 7?
Yeah, carrot gets up there. I know the Bonnie can stun anything, but the carrot can stun 7 or less. It basically can stun whatever Electra Luna can stun.
Oh, yeah, it is 7 or less.
Yes.
6 is Jozu.
Jozu, yeah.
I used to use Jozu to bounce carrots.
But yeah, no, carrot's a very powerful card just for that, just the ability of like keeping a board state completely rested. That is to say, like if Jay were to find the second carrot now, there's the Kabaji I mentioned before, actually the one he played.
Does chain it with the other 7 drop here, and essentially only really doing that to flood the board here to try to get that
condition for 10 drop Buggy.
Yep. So even if he removes one of these characters, he still will meet that condition for the 10
Yeah,
drop.
and one devastating thing that Jay could do here, I'm not sure what's in his hand, but if he has the Tashigi, basically he can keep that board like healthily rested. Beef only has leader and Kabaji to swing with. Here we have 8-drop Kid. So if there is a Tashigi, this is the best spot. If it's a Rocinante, it doesn't really help much because the Buggy can still remove it.
Yeah.
But you're at least forcing Beef to have it.
And I don't think I see the Tashiki in hand. However, having this Cavendish is also good for Jay. He's pretty much got the best board setup for Bonnie here, having the carrot and Cavendish. So he will be able to extend his plays with the Cavendish.
Looks like he's thinking of wanting to at least get some stuff off board. I imagine if he's going to attach it onto the carrot.
Yep, so he's swinging 8 at the Mr. 1.
So no matter what, he's making sure that Beef only really has 2 viable things to swing with next turn.
Swinging at life, Beef more than likely will take this swing here, which he does. Oh, and
I told you, it's the Nami luck every time.
And what sucks is he's unable to put any pressure with this Rouge due to this 7 cost.
Which I think is fine, because having the blocker out as an option is better, especially with the Kid turn. I'm not sure what he's going to play with the Kid, but...
Yep, and here he goes using Kid ability here.
Okay, it's Rosinante.
Rosinante.
Well, I mean, that does happen, because either way, this is the strongest turn you can have. There's no getting around if he has the Buggy or not.
Well, the Shigi would have been the only way to get around that 10 cost.
Yes. But I mean, with the hand that Jay currently has to work with, still a very powerful turn.
Yeah.
Because now Beef either can just play it for 10 and at least get 1 clean swing in, or can with the hand as big as his, he can do the 5 Don to play it.
Yep. And you do see him reading the card there, debating on how to go about it. And might be opting to just use his leader ability, though. Although being at 10 Don, maybe better to keep your hand size and just play it out for the 10.
Yeah. Now, what you can do if you're feeling really good is if he has a second buggy, you can easily leader, or no, you can't leader ability twice. Never mind. Wait, no, buggy isn't once per turn.
I think maybe that's
You
why
can.
he's opting to do it this way.
Yeah, buggy is not once per turn. I just remembered. Yeah, it's just activate main. So if he has it, he can easily get rid of that carrot that's been causing him so much problems too.
Or the Cavendish, because then it will stop extending Jay's plays here and potentially just deal with the carrot next turn with a swing.
Yeah. I feel like the carrot has more value to remove though than the Cavendish, because normally with the Cavendish you would want to prevent him from getting like very high value Don turns while restanding, but he has the Arouge to get that value.
But you do see Beef here is opting to swing at the Cavendish here.
And now we'll see if Jay is aware of the Kabaji's ability. I know a lot of cards that have the can't be KO'd by battle abilities tend to get ignored and still get swung into. So,
and it looks like he might be opting to give him that Arouge, which he does. Do you think it'd be better to give him the Rosinante over the Arouge?
I'm not entirely sure. I would say because Buggy doesn't really have like KO removal, it's bottom deck removal, it's probably better just to give up the Rosinante at that point.
Yeah, and then you still get your 1 Don up as well.
Yeah. So now Jay can still go ahead and keep that Crocodile stunned with the carrot. He still has like very healthy buys to swing with and will Beef at 2 life. And no blockers from what I remember. Oh, here's another kid.
Going for another kid turn here.
They just keep on coming.
And if Beef has another 10 drop, it's just going to be goodbye for this thing. Is that a Tashigi this time at the top?
I believe so, actually.
So this time he might actually have the protection for the kid.
I also do see, I think he had Zoro in hand too, which I would have argued, well, no.
No, at this point he has to play the
buggies.
kid here.
Yeah, Buggy's too strong to play into that.
So here comes the kid effect, and
Yeah,
there's the Tashigi.
So now we have very proper protection from both the board Buggy and for an eventual Buggy big plays. Okay, so he doesn't know Kabaji's text.
Yep, so does not know about that effect.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, it's very common. As a Vegapunk player, the amount of people that still swing into like cards like Atlas that aren't very aware of it not being able to be removed happens very often.
I think Jay almost declared 7 at the Kabaji again.
Yeah, it happens. Like when little misplays like that do happen, you get flustered in the moment, but just have to kind of reevaluate. Jay's still in a very commanding position, 2 life, leader ability up, very strong kid wall up. So Beef is kind of struggling right now with only 3 viable attacks, and one of them will be rested by leader ability.
Yeah, so he probably had to swing with the 10 drop first to at least clear.
Right, to force the Rosinante at least.
Yeah. And
Now, if he does play Gravity Blade like I mentioned before, or no, because he couldn't do it with the Tashigi out.
Tashigi will protect it.
Tashigi's such a
Tashigi's such a good card.
I'm gonna be nice and say powerful card. I have a lot of other words for replacement effect cards.
On top of it, it's a 2K.
Yeah. No, so that card with the Dressrosa Sabo, they're printing these replacement effects as like 2Ks that are just more powerful on the board than they ever are in hand. And
That is true.
It's ridiculous. And Supernova gets that too next set with a 2-cost blocker. For yellow, it's a beige 2-cost blocker that if you try to remove their Supernova, you just put the Supernova at top of life instead.
Hey, that's perfect for green, yellow, law.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, hopefully we see if they're going to continue this trend, it becomes more prominent in other colors too. Give everyone a fair shot, but green's definitely abusing a lot of having, like, being able to hide behind a Tashigi for these types of decks.
And here comes that 12K swing with the buggy at the kid. Choosing the rest, the Kabaji, which is the right choice. That obviously the Croc is stunned and the other buggies will not swing. Best thing here for Jay to do is just to give up the Rosinante. Unless he's got all the counter in hand, best to just give the Trump
Yeah,
block
I mean,
up.
I would imagine he probably has at least another blocker somewhere in hand, or maybe it's a lot of top end. Oh, he does give up the kid.
Lets it go is very interesting.
Maybe he values the Rocinante blocker a bit heavy because, I mean, we haven't seen his hand too well, but I believe Jay is holding on to a lot of top end, not a lot of counter.
Correct, which is why I would have saved the kid there. Choosing the block with the buggy would have been the better option because it would have forced Beef to attach everything and swing into the kid again.
Right, so now we have him use the Rocinante.
Yeah, so this is where it's very interesting for that choice of play. He could have protected it and then next turn established the 9-drop shanks that I see him holding and at least been able to clear one of these bodies.
Oh, I'm not sure if it was Beef's list specifically, but I do remember seeing Buggy List start playing cards like the Boa just to have very strong pressure on decks that just you can't remove their bodies, like stunning a character, basically like what the Carrot's been doing.
Yeah.
So Jay is still in a fairly good position here. Beef's at 1 life, no blockers out. His hand size isn't the biggest, so I mean, you can maybe even argue going for lethal here, but
Yeah, in the position he's in currently, he's going to have to. Beef has no blocker. Not sure what his exact hand size is.
So
Looks like probably 5.
yeah. And then Beef has 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, because he got rid of the buggy. So he does have a healthy amount of attackers for next turn, even with the Carrot stun. So Jay can still feel comfortable, like not losing next turn with whatever he decides to do, but he will have to play this very carefully depending on hand size.
Yeah, and then this is where he should have held on to the kid here. Blocking with that Rosinante would have forced Beef to swing into it one more time, and it potentially wouldn't even have been enough Don to be able to get over it. So he could have potentially just countered out if he was saving 6 Don for the Boa here.
Yeah.
So he would have had the Cavendish as well, since he would have had to commit more Don to swing in the kid. Potentially.
So it looks like we're going to see a 6K swing into leader just to test the waters and see what happens from it. I'm also hoping that in Jay's math, he's not factoring the Tashigi because the Tashigi is unable to attack as well because of that buggy. So right now, Jay technically only has 2 things he can attack with, which is Bleeder, Bonnie, and the Carrot.
That is true. But you do see swinging 6 potentially is going to try to do the bomb shanks here.
Which would be a very strong removal. But would he have put a Don if he did the Shanks? Because then he wouldn't have a way to get the 1 Don back for Bonnie ability.
Oh, that's right. Cavendish can't swing.
Yeah.
Not sure what.
So I don't think he's going to do any heavy 9-drop plays here. He could possibly be trying to find lethal with like a Hody Jones. But yeah, Beef's hand looks small, but Buggy, again, does play a lot of 2Ks, especially with the cycling of the stage. I wouldn't really trust that Beef's hand is all kind of bricks.
And looks like he's opting to swing 7 here, so not sure what he's going to do with the other 8 Don. Maybe play out a bunch of chump blockers is a possibility. I know they play a lot of killers.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, very healthy amount of counter in hand. Okay,
And
so now we
stunning
see
the
how
Croc
Jace
again.
decides to stabilize, because now I feel like he can comfortably try to go for game next turn as long as he finds a way to not lose.
And looks like he might be opting to do a Hody there.
Hody here would be interesting, but I don't think it's beneficial in any way is the problem, because you're making yourself at higher risk by taking that life to hand, and at best you're removing maybe the Boa.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Boa would be the only thing he would be able to remove because the Croc's already stunned. You can't KO the Kabaji.
And Tashigi can't swing.
And Tashigi can't swing.
No, so it looks like he might be opting for something different here.
So
Maybe he didn't counter out either. Looking at his hand, he's got a lot of bricks.
That's what I was saying. So I think he wouldn't even be able to counter out any of the swings to Kid anyway.
He would have at least potentially been able to bait out the not the ball
yeah,
play.
the Tashigi was in his math. I wonder
Yeah, and Tashigi can't swing.
Wonder if they're gonna catch it.
Yeah.
Are we able to?
You could go and let him.
Let them know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are gonna let them know, since the buggy technically prevents swings, since it is a 4 cost and under. So yeah, just had to inform the players of that. They definitely, it's something that needs to be remembered, since the buggy is on the field. Tashigi cannot swing since the 7-drop. Bootlicking buggy is still on the field there. So Kuma, being the judge that he is, felt the need to go let him know. Very good on Kuma there. So now this does skew Jay's map here. He ends up just playing that smoker and restands a Dawn here. Okay. So potentially going to try to survive here to get into the next turn.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jay is in that unfortunate spate where he does have a very bricked up hand. With Beef's attacks, I mean, Beef is seeing that hand that Jay has and will assume that there's at least some kind of counter in there. Is the buggy still rested for a reason? Did I miss something?
No, so the only thing that's stunned on Jay's, yeah, that buggy should be standing. Yeah, I was going to say, the only thing stunned on Jay's field is going to be that croc.
Yeah. So, I mean, Beef does have the amount of swings to go for game here.
Yeah.
Going for the 12 first.
I mean, opting to swing 12, which is interesting. Oh, well, that's why you're going to want to swing 12 first.
Yeah. So now you have to find the exact numbers. I'm not sure what Jay got out of life for counter. So yeah, this is the one downside I am noticing with Bonnie's. I mean, all the ones I play will always have the perfect amount of counter in hand, but they play so many cards that it's just heavy top end that they'll just be bricked up.
You know what I like to compare it to? Shanks. It's either going to have all the top end or all the 2Ks, just like the World Shanks in the finals.
Unless you're my opponent, then you'll have the perfect mix.
And there he goes. Going 11. That's very unfortunate there for Jay, having absolutely no counter in that entire hand.
It does happen. Like we mentioned before, Buggy doesn't exactly have a bad matchup into this. I mean, even with his characters being constantly stunned, like he's able to kind of recur a board that can keep attacking, and he'll always have that counter in hand. So
yeah,
played very well by both players. Just unfortunate draws and triggers.
Yeah, I think the only thing that different that could have been done, and it was pointed out in the chats, is blocking with that Rosinante. It would have at least forced Beef to maybe attach more Dawn to potentially try to clear the Kid.
Yeah.
Potentially. But who knows? It could have went either way.
Yeah.
Just having that answers is very unfortunate. We are 5 minutes before overtime. I don't think we're going to go on a break here. We might just sit here and talk about whatever we can.
Yeah.
I did see there was a raid in the Twitch chat, Agathon TV. Thank you for the raid. Welcome to Sully's Abode Locals. They stream locals every Wednesday. It is the official start of our league night here. Very interesting league format that they plan on doing. I don't know if you caught it.
Yeah.
It is going to be essentially top 10 for points, get into a winners league, and whoever wins the locals here every Wednesday or whatever Wednesday will get an invite. It's a free tournament, but they play for, I believe it was 25% of whatever this pot the store will match to throw into it as well.
Yeah, so I believe the overall pricing structure got reduced for that reason. You still get a nice payout if you're constantly showing up and getting points. Something that I want to also stress that people get kind of like, naturally like a bad idea of with these type of tournament structures is just showing up and playing is more than enough to get enough points to reach in those top numbers. You don't even necessarily have to keep winning.
You go X3, X2, bring friends.
As long as you're showing up more than the other players and participating, you can easily accumulate the points to get into these types of like higher brackets.
Oh, yeah. And even then, if you do not make it in the top 10, they are going to have a loser's bracket as well for a final chance to try to get into one of these tournaments, too. So very interesting that they're trying to make it a little bit more competitive, more practice, but also keep to the casual people that come here for
Absolutely,
fun.
yeah. Like the overall structure is casual friendly, but you give the high-end competitors something to strive for, especially for practice. So,
Oh, yeah.
very healthy way of doing things. I do like it.
Hydro, you do got to come back to the locals. We miss you out here. Hart is here today.
Someone's here for Shecky. I know for a fact I haven't seen him. I'm sorry to ruin your streaming experience.
Shecky is up north.
Yeah.
Comes out for the big events.
Yeah, put Hart's forearms on stream. I'll see where he's at. I mean, he's playing.
He's playing Usopp.
If he's playing Usopp, I would want to see that on stream because he has an interest. Well, maybe he doesn't want to be on stream. I know he's playing around with a very different build than I've seen.
He's gonna be on stream today. If that's what the chat wants, they will be seeing Hart here today.
We'll tell him that the chat's demanding him. So.
And he's very notorious for the forearms. Yep,
we have two people here for Hart now, so you know what? That'll be a. I literally said it was
and here
probably
we go.
going
People
to happen.
forgetting about that Tashiki
and then I'm like,
swing
yeah,
here.
it happened.
And that's why that buggy promo is a menace.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we definitely got a couple people here. I know there's a lot of Hart people here. I can check the bracket, see if he made it through. Let's see here. Usually does pretty well. I know he's running Usopp today, so he's running something a little different. Let's see, Hart. Oh, I can't find him on the bracket. Oh, so looks like Hart did not take round 1. Very unfortunate there. But we can throw him on stream regardless. It is okay. Try to diversify it up a little bit. I know he was riding the Dofi wave for a little bit and finally testing out after these bans since they are implemented today. And looks like we're waiting on.
I'm back. I was just talking with Beef about how his game went.
I know that Tashigi, that honestly probably could have changed the whole game for him.
Yeah. I mean, all it was going to do is just get that one life out of hand. So it's not like it was game breaking.
Unless he didn't have counter.
Well, because he was at 1 life still. That would have been the last attack regardless. And then Jade did lose the following turn. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think the Kabaji turn was probably one of the more crucial ones because that could have been
a 7K
push
swing, yeah. Would have been a 7K to life and probably would have connected, honestly, if you would have went that route. But just unfortunate. It's why it's important to kind of get your reps in, especially try to prepare for the regionals coming up. Peoria, not sure if you're going to be trying to go out there.
Yeah, I'm personally going to be going to Peoria. No idea what I'm playing yet. I'm torn between 3 decks. As a yellow player, I've just been kind of in a ball of depression for a bit for obvious reasons.
You could play Kid. Play damn Punk instead of Raigo.
Yeah, no, I mean, I am Kid is my current speculation for decks. I'm going with either that or Robin just to feel the need to heal with the deck.
You know what you could do with Robin? You could do the
I'm
Basil
not doing
Hawkins.
the OTK.
Do the Basil Hawkins combo.
Now that being said, I do splash a Kaido Lilin in my build because if I see it in certain scenarios, decks could just fold to it. And that feels really good. But yeah, it's I'm not sure between that and Blackbeard. A lot of potential, honestly, coming up for Peoria because you either go kind of more the aggro route, you go control.
There is Blackbeard, which I might just cope on and take out there. And
a lot of recent events that have happened this past weekend, especially in Chicago, even though they were all pre-banned, but they were post-OP10, interesting to see a lot of decks that were like winning those. A lot of Bonnies.
A lot of Bonnies, a lot of Limbs.
A lot of Limbs, a couple Zoros.
Red-Green Smoker.
Red-Green Smokers, absolutely. I'm trying to think what else. Kid. Obviously, Kid was on Sully's stream for finals.
Kid did make it to the finals.
Yeah, and lost to Bonnie mainly because of I think it was like the Bonnie last life was a green 8-cost Kid and kind of solidified not being able to go for game after that.
Yeah, it was just a lot of Doflamingos as well, getting their last hurrah
Yeah.
with the deck that, well, full power Dofies.
I do
I'd
know
like
there's
to
a few
call it.
Dofies around today, so maybe we'll actually see one of them that's trying with new tech options.
And I have seen the tech options going, as we did talk about, was the
Mm-hmm.
Red Rocks or the 10-drop Bounce Kaido. However, just in green, it's a little funky, especially if they are able to chain that Tashigi to protect it.
Yeah.
So it's really the defining factor there. And looks like they have 4 minutes before overtime is finished. Looks
Yeah.
like still waiting on.
Maybe a game or two. I see most people kind of shuffling their cards and talking.
Maybe two people or just people that need to register their round.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like right now. It looks like everyone's
Just a public
pretty done.
PSA, as somebody who judges events, please make sure you report your matches in timely manners, guys. Just make sure tournaments go smoothly.
Or you get a double round loss from Kuma.
Oh, absolutely. I don't hunt people down. That's if I don't see someone won, I'll just assume you both left.
Hey, it be like that sometimes. Might see. Could probably put Hard up. I do know.
Yeah, I'll go find him once he.
Yeah, just gotta let table
round.
one know whoever it ends up being, because they are so used to just coming up now.
No, absolutely.
As they should. They're undefeated. They've earned their right. Let's see here. What do you think about the store tournaments? The store team tournaments?
Oh, yeah. So, honestly, I'm not sure how I feel. Conventionally, I think it's a really cool idea. Like, no one should have any idea that this isn't like a very like flavorful, like building a crew, getting like your top performing players participating, and then having like supporting crew. Logistically, not entirely sure how this is going to work out, because the way it's worded is implying that a store would send upwards of like 13 people to Nats.
13, 3 captains, 10
supporting
ones.
And that's implying that all those people would go to Nats for participating, whatever it is. I mean, you would go regardless. Nats is a fantastic time. But just depending on, I guess, maybe how many stores are involved, because I know they do pick those. We'll probably be lucky if maybe 3 or more Chicago stores get
More
the
than
opportunity.
likely, I feel like maybe the Abode would be one of them. Nerd Rage up north. And I don't know who else, but I do know a couple stores more up north. I think La Estrella applied for it.
And then, people will be kind of fighting for those spots, which is, again,
they have to earn those spots.
Yeah. One thing I'm not too keen on, though, is, unless they decide to change this, is you can only apply for one of the tournaments to get in, unless I'm thinking of one of the other events. There was an event where it is the team tournament. So the way it's worded on the site is you can only apply for one.
Really?
And it's a chance you even get in. So you can't like mass apply and open your chances to get into just one. I feel like they wanted to word it as you can only be participating in one, but they made it you can only apply to one.
So you have to pick your store.
You have to pick your store, and you're not even guaranteed to get in, which is a little on the iffy side for me.
Just go wait on the wait list.
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's definitely people that want to pick, like, their preferred store, and then naturally, like, if you don't get in, it just feels a little bad.
Then you go to whatever store next you can go to.
Well, no, you can't, because I said you can only apply for one. So once you get that one and done, and you don't get in, you lost your shot. As by how it's worded. So if someone could correct me, that'd be fantastic, because I hope it's not the case. But
that'd be very trippy there.
Yeah.
We got like 2 minutes left.
I'm gonna go just inform Hart that whenever the pairings go up, he could just go set up.
I was gonna say, yeah, we'll take a little break here. You're gonna probably push it on and get everyone ready, and we will be right back then. Okay, and we are back. Short break. Like I said, we were just getting ready, everyone ready, and getting them seated. Hart did not make it to the stream this time. We got Foxy Silver. Well, Hart was going to go, but we have Foxy Silver on the left, and we have Matt G on the right.
Yeah,
so
not sure
Matt G was on Kid, so I would assume he's on Kid.
Yeah, I don't really doubt at all.
Oh, Foxy.
Oh, so it's actual Foxy. You know, I was going to say this is interesting, but then I realized that Kid really doesn't care about Foxy as much just because...
His ability will restand.
Yeah, restand. You don't keep bodies rested that Foxy would want to keep stunning. You sure you stun the leader, but...
However, you do need that one Don up. So
Yeah.
that is the only thing, if not Don up, life,
The life up.
faced up. So if there's already a life faced up from the previous turn,
Yeah.
we'll not be able to activate that leader ability.
And I was talking with Matt before this game just about the Kid matchups in general because that's a deck I'm planning on playing. We both agreed that like there's a lot of Kid players that tend to aggressively leader ability. Like let's say they're on their 4 Don, they play the Hawkins, they immediately flip up. I mean, sure that's nice because then you can get the life trash, but I would rather keep the body out and just take whatever swing that they do, and then have the ability to restand like have 2 active bodies the following turn with whatever I end up playing. But I mean, it's preference and I guess matchup dependent.
Yeah.
Because I'm also pretty versed in Foxy also, just as a pet deck I messed around with. I don't think Foxy has a lot of good tools in this matchup. Like 7-drop Foxy's its boss card, but depends what other purple cards he's playing.
I will say, when those Foxes are all stacked on the field, there is absolutely nothing.
Well, it
you
was the
can
original
do.
Shanks. It was the original, like, kind of oppressive on your opponent's turn ability to have.
And we do just see Don and passes from both players. Foxy now being on 3 Don.
Yeah,
just swinging
which
for
Foxy does
5.
want to be on an odd curve because they want to see that Porshon curve into, I forget his name, but the ramp card. Pickles is also a pretty good card in this matchup. It avoids KO effects for your other Foxy cards. They have to hit Pickles first, so it's basically a kind of a fake Tashigi if you think about it.
Which is very good because, yeah, it's the Tashigi. It's going to waste, the potential Damned Punk or Gadatsus that I have seen Matt G's list running, or the Namis as well. So he did play out that Rush Zoro, which allows that rush, and he's going to make it a blocker. Very interesting.
So I did miss. Did he swing with the Zoro?
He did. He did swing with the Zoro, and then he
Well,
made it into a blocker as well.
I'd say the blocker part is less important, is more of just saving the body and restanding it like I mentioned before. Because now he just has like that pressure of 2 swings the following turn, and Foxy doesn't have the option to just swing into that Zoro just to remove the tempo.
Yep, and then we do see that 8-drop Kid as well, which is a very, very essential card in the deck.
And that always makes your opponent kind of think twice about swinging because they're thinking, do I want to give him the Kid for the 8-Don turn? So I see we see another Kid card, the 5-drop Kid purple blocker, which is fantastic in this deck.
Yeah, but however, that is not going to be protected under the Pickles.
So unfortunately, I see someone requesting me playing Sugar on stream. Maybe next week if I actually end up participating. I don't know if I would want to play Sugar here if I'm actually fighting for a first place spot for once, but I've messed with the deck enough to where I think I can take it somewhere.
Hey, you never know. The Sugar on Sunday absolutely went crazy.
He inspired me to make 3 different deck choices, and I was very happy to see that.
And we do see him starting to pressure here with this Zoro, swinging 6 at the Kid, starting to try to, take some cards from hand from Foxy Silver here. He does have that Nami, which will be able to pop the Kid as well.
Yeah, like Kid, or just Yellow in general, has so many fantastic tools to remove early bodies. Where it does fall off is the late game removal because we're not allowed to have cards like Raigo apparently. But yeah, cards like the Nami, the Damned Punk that you mentioned, just 5 drops and less is such an important curve in this meta specifically that having those tools to remove is great for these situations.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I just noticed that Matt didn't decide to use leader ability to restand that Zoro again. So I'm wondering if has a particular reason.
Not sure. But, oh, here's this notorious
Yes.
Foxy here that's finally established.
So, and now Kid does have the issue where it doesn't really have a means to remove that Foxy, so it has to play around with the idea of its board always being on -1K on the swing back. But with the fact that Kid just has so many tools to trash life, getting the swings in is not as... Oh. Wait, that would be a 4K.
Oh, it looks like they goofed up there. That Foxy should have lowered that entire...
Yeah, so I mean, we're a bit too far now in
Yeah.
the stage. I won't mention anything, so we'll hope that they catch it now.
Yep. And Matt G is going to use that ability to restand the Kid as a blocker. However, just went through Foxy Silver's life there.
Yeah.
And Foxy Silver finally realized.
So one thing that Foxy does have going for it, depending on the list, obviously, is it does have that very powerful restand event that can be used on both the leader or the character Foxy. So once Foxy decides to shoot for game, it has that tool to like bait out the blocker and get like those very massive swings in.
Is it the slow beam?
No, it's a 3-cost. It's like the Uta 3-drop event that restands the leader, but it restands a Foxy card, so it can either be leader or character.
Very interesting. Just slap it on his 7-drop here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have multiple in hand, you just get like very, very powerful swings. It's the art of him punching consecutively, so it's very flavorful.
This matches with the card that he has there.
Exactly. No,
However, that was a real big mistake for Foxy Silver there, putting him down a lot.
I'm sure he'll catch it, but okay, it looks like he's not sure. Because so he has the condition now where he can start leader ability to at least get the double stun, which will help that he doesn't lose next turn. If like Matt G were to do another Kid into a swing, he still does have very two able-bodied characters to swing with the following turn.
And you do see Foxy Silver chaining double Porsche. He's specifically looking for a Foxy Pirate card.
So that Foxy is from the new set. It is a 2K, and it's... Yes, so he just mentioned if on play, I believe you draw a card if you're at equal or less Don. I know Rage you...
I believe he's got to trash it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, you trash him. That's right. So in Foxy specifically, so you have him out there to meet the requirements for leader ability if you're like short on the 3-character condition, and then you just trash him to get the draw. So very, very nice card. Now, I think what Foxy was probably digging for with those Porsches were probably the chopper blocker, and because he would have definitely played them if he saw them. But
or maybe even the other 7-drop Foxy in the deck.
Yeah, well, yeah, he'd have to wait till next turn to play them. But right now, he is in a position where he needs to wall up. Now, he's keeping the 2-Don up, which will make me assume that he probably does have slow beam in hand, which is the Don -1 2-cost event that rests a character and gives 2K counter. But the problem here is it doesn't really do anything in this position because now Matt G only has 1 character to attack with to begin with. So, not sure what the 2-Don being held up is going to be for. Maybe a Foxy swing, but...
Potentially. Yep, so now it looks like he's opting to do the trash. Definitely digging for something.
Yeah, I bet you he's looking for the blocker.
Yeah, to have some type of wall. And that would have been protected off the pickles as well. So using the Foxy to ramp.
Foxy's biggest weakness, and we're seeing this with kind of well, it's funny, I'm trying to say Foxy, but I'm applying the player over the
Foxy
deck.
Silver.
Yeah, Foxy Silver. What you're seeing him run into is the deck doesn't have, while having like Porsche as a nice searcher, it doesn't have the full consistency it wants to do like everything that the deck's intended to do.
Yeah.
Other decks can just get overwhelming pressure. Like, if we're looking at Magi right now, his hand is just full of cards. Granted, I'm pretty sure half of those are bricks.
Potentially.
Yeah.
He could establish another Kid and just swing in with the other one and then restand it as a blocker.
Absolutely. He also probably has Law in hand where he could heal up and get more blockers for next turn. But
he did pitch a Law as well. Yep. So looks like he's opting to do that
and
Kid
looks
play
like
here.
He's going to see if he has lethal here with... He'll most likely keep that Don up because knowing Matt G's list, he probably still plays the Blaze Slices and L Thors for just added counter. Okay, so he has 1 up for that exact reason. Okay,
He's
so Foxy was
over
able to
countering there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're forgetting about the Foxy's ability every time.
And since he does have double kid established here, he is able to draw 2 and trash another one for both of them, and now making the other one a blocker. Also, we see the Nami there for a potential pop.
Yeah. So now Foxy does have that position where I mentioned where if he has that event in hand with the 7-cost Foxy, I can see an easy way to kind of go for game here, depending on Matt G's hand, obviously. But he does have a lot of swings, and Matt G only having the 1 blocker.
Yeah, it just solely comes down to...
'Cause even with the Nami trigger, remember, as long as Pickles is out there, if he swings with Pickles first, the Nami can only pop the Pickles.
Oh, that is right. And then Foxy Silver finally realizing his Foxy ability there.
All right, yeah, they're realizing now that there was a...
And it's a little too late. The turning point was the turn where he took the 2 swings from the Zoro and the Nami.
So it looks like Matt G is allowing him to take back one of those 1K counters that he over-countered with last turn. So.
However, at a big event, that will not happen. That card was pitched. I have seen a player at a region, I believe in Knoxville, which was last year, lose because he over-countered.
Yeah.
Or under-countered because he thought the character was at a higher or a higher attack.
It does
stat.
happen. It's important that you know both your cards, and it's important that you read your opponent's cards if you're not aware, because if you're both making the same mistake there, and then you notice after, I mean, there's no point of reverse. You both agree to the terms of what resolved at that point. Some things are reversible, but not if it's gone that far. Like in their case, reversing is just taking back one of the 1K counters Matt being very cool about it, but obviously Matt could also just be like, counter is counter, so.
Yeah. At locals, I don't really care, but yeah, at the bigger events, it's going to make a big difference.
Absolutely. Like, I encourage people, like, if they make the mistakes, I'll be like, no, this is locals, this is where you're supposed to learn. Just make, as if they repeat the mistake, then I'll be like, okay, that this is your learning moment, but.
Looking at the chat here, Matt G did filter twice. He did announce each filter, so I did see that happen.
Did he? Oh, wait, did he filter twice last turn?
Oh,
okay. Hydro Gunner is confirming he did twice. Maybe he did it in a very swift motion. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, no, I did see Matt G announce the first one and then tap for the second. And we do see now he is dumping all the cards for the counter here. And Foxy establishing a queen here. Potentially looking for some type of counter. However, in a pretty rough spot.
Yeah, now with the queen there, the problem is that is not protected by Pickles. So if Matt G does find some kind of removal tool, he has the Nami in life. If he finds another Nami in hand or something, then he can just easily pop it and go for game.
However, Foxy Silver did use leader ability to stun the kid and leader kid as well.
That is true. This is where Foxy does have an advantage of keeping a pressured or keeping the board down so they continue to keep pressure. The kid got 1K and a Kiku. Okay. All right, so Hydro Gunners are eyes in the sky here, catching things for us. We appreciate it.
Yep. So Foxy Silver declared a 5K at the kid so that he doesn't swing into this Nami here to trigger the queen, then using ability to stun. So here, buying himself another turn unless, again, he's able to find maybe a damned punk.
Yeah, I don't believe Matt G runs on his list. He's pretty heavy on the counters already with the L-Thors and the Blaze Slice. So.
I do know they were running Rygo on Sunday, and I figured that'd be a good substitute in the deck since losing Rygo. It's a form of removal for at least 5 cost and under.
Yeah.
And again, the player has to remember there is a minus 1K from this Foxy as well. So this time
is where I find dice very useful just to keep track of static abilities like that.
And he does give him the
So-
queen there.
Yeah, Zoro wouldn't get rushed here because Matchy is above in life, so he doesn't have a means to rush down. But he does have a way to stabilize with healing, so that's very important.
Hmm. Yeah, so he ends up healing, and now he is going to be able to restand one of these kids for a blocker as well, and now
Yeah.
cycle out with the kid
All the
abilities
dead
here.
cards in hand. There's the Nami that I believe he'll hold on to in case there's another blocker to remove next turn.
And, he might be pitching it.
Mm.
Maybe
That's-
looking to keep 2K counters.
Yeah, I think he's very afraid of dying next turn, which is very fair. Like I mentioned, there are ways that Foxy can kind of take a game with cards that people just aren't aware exist.
Yep. He also does have 5 cards, so potentially why he did pitch that Nami. We do see El Thor in his hand.
Yeah, Elthor, one of his counters. He probably has the second down up because he either has a Blaze Slice or another Elthor, but
Yeah. So pretty, I mean, both players are sitting in a pretty decent position here. All comes down to who can get there first. So starting off with a 7K swing.
yeah. So here, I'm not sure if I would take it or not. The Zoro, yeah, no trigger because you don't want to pitch. You have to pitch a card in hand for the Zoro trigger, and that costs too much for him.
Yeah, and it's also a 1K.
Yeah, so he's aware that right now, yeah, Pickle's swinging here is the best thing. Oh, interesting. Maybe he's very well. He
Well, he does have
still.
the blocker from the
Yeah.
kid, so he is going to be able to just kind of take life here.
So he has 2 down remaining, so he does not have the restand event like I've assumed he might.
And is able to get through all the swings there. So now Matt G basically has a free hit swing in there.
Yeah, and Foxy didn't use the leader ability either, so it's just kind of, yeah, big swing from here. Oh, yeah, a lot of high-end purple bricks in hand. It happens.
He was looking for that counter there, so very unfortunate there for Foxy Silver. Again, going back and reviewing the game, I do think the turning point was when he forgot about his own Foxy ability,
Yeah.
taking 2 swings to life when should not have taken them at all.
Well, the leader swing he would have took, but the Zoro wouldn't
Well,
have gone
that would have
through.
been, he did take the 2 character swings.
Oh, that's right. There were 2 characters out here.
He took the 2 character swings and then Maggie swung with leader.
Yeah.
It would have just been 1, and that's if he was digging for something. So putting himself down in life just for forgetting an ability. So
Yeah.
very unfortunate there.
But still played best can with what the options they were given, just outside of those mistakes. And that's what we do here at Locals, is we learn our decks. I
Yeah.
don't believe Foxy Silver practices Foxy religiously, so now he'll have the mindset to always remember that -1.
Yeah.
That's the game plan.
That's the most annoying thing about that Fox is being able to establish it and just get that -1,
Yeah.
ramp your Dawn back, and stun with leader. It's just a consistent, never-ending cycle with that.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But we do see Matt G advancing into the next round. And we just see how well that yellow kid can do. I didn't think the deck could do very well, but this is the second day I'm seeing it this week, and it's performing very well.
One of the strongest tools that the game has been presenting us with, and this has been more rampant in like current sets, is protecting characters simply just by restanding them. You see it in decks like Lim, decks like Kid. Like the best protection you could have with like bodies is just making sure they aren't open to being swung at, because sure there's KO effects, but it's more so you're saving your resources in hand that you otherwise would use in a combat where they try to take them out, and then you just have more pressure for next turn.
Yeah.
So Kid just excels at constantly keeping a board pressure.
Up.
Yeah, just the board up, and then also half their cards trash your life, so they're denying you the ability to get cards into your hand
Yeah.
for their future turns.
And that's that Basil, the Nico Robin, and
Yeah.
obviously we just saw the Eustace Captain Kid there as
Yeah.
well. Looking at chat here. Oh, volume. We're talking a little too quiet.
Oh, sorry about that, guys.
They want the mics right in our face.
Yeah.
Leo, welcome in, Leo.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Oh, I didn't know we stream on YouTube too.
Yeah, streaming on the 3 different platforms. We're streaming to the Sully's channel, YouTube, Sully's Abode YouTube, to Sully's Abode Twitch, and we're streaming to my SGTCG
Oh,
channel as
yeah.
well.
There we go.
So, shameless plug, YouTube, SGTCG, upload my POV content on days I do go and play. Obviously, Wednesdays I don't play as much anymore.
No, but this is honestly, I feel like you kind of get a lot more out of this specifically than if you were playing just from an analytical point of the game. Like I feel I just look at decks a lot differently than
Oh
if I were
yeah,
actually playing.
this is a lot different, and then being able to see how people play it differently, it's pretty cool. Because I usually don't see a lot of these matchups, so it's really good to see.
Someone's
as well.
asking what's the Twitch. I believe it's twitch.tv /
Sully's
Abode.
Abode. Yeah, twitch.tv Sully's Abode is the Twitch channel.
Yeah, and I believe it's whenever we cut away, it'll be on the little clip somewhere, in the little tagline somewhere.
It is, yeah. It will be in.
Yeah.
Looks like it is. Yeah, Sully's Abode. That's all it is.
I know Hydro Gunner is enjoying our specific ASMR. Unfortunately, like last time, I'm not able to stick around, so I'll probably be leaving probably well before the next round starts. Next week, I'm hoping to actually stick around and play, so maybe I'll actually be on stream myself.
Yeah, I have been given the option to play as well, so we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, try to play, get that one first place for the later tournament, and then you're good. Just commentate the rest of the
Just hang out after that. And looks like we did reach the follower goal here, 220. Kuma on stream, yeah, right. All right, yeah, so we are going to be cutting into a break. There's about, looks like 8 minutes left before overtime. Couple players still in their rounds. Let me see here. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 7 matches still going on here. Looks like one of them being a Nami. We do have a Dofi out there playing. A Bonnie, yeah. So a couple of rounds that might take a while here.
Mm-hmm. And for the people that were requesting earlier, maybe I don't know, maybe James will be able to pull Hart in for the next round, depending.
Potentially, depends on how it is going. If he's X2. They ain't going to let him up here.
That's fair. That's fair. I know he's experimenting with Usopp right now. So, I mean, that's the fun part of experimenting with decks. If you get those losses, you know exactly what caused you to lose. You make those changes, and then you kind of move on.
Oh, yeah. This is the best place to do it.
Yeah. That's why I grind sim at work constantly.
I don't get to.
Oh,
I wish. I throw it on my phone real fast.
No, trust me, I'm not supposed to be, but I do it anyway. I don't think anyone from my work watches this, so.
It'll be all right. Come into work. What you doing?
I'll get the HR notice as soon as I come in tomorrow.
But we will be going under a break, about like a 7-minute break until they finish the round and push on to the next one. So we'll be cutting over.
All right.
All right, we are back. Just me now. There was a little break. I did leave the pickup round, so if I notice that they are going to be playing, I'll make sure to leave them up there for you guys. You aren't just sitting there looking at the BRB screen. But going into round 3, we are going to have Benj Jammin 69 versus Dom here. Let's see what the players are playing. We got Dom on the right, Benj Jammin on the left. Looks like we got a Zoro. Zoro versus Shanks. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup here. I do know Zoro more than likely is probably playing the Zoro, so is going to try to go as wide as possible with the animals and might potentially be under control with the Shanks, depending on the build that they're playing with. So it's actually been a minute since I've seen a Zoro on the top tables here. But we are familiar with Shanks. Shanks has been seen a lot. So I know Shanks usually wants to go second in this matchup here, or in any matchup to more than likely just keep curve. Wants to get to their 10 drop, their 8 drops right away. Potentially Zoro just needs to be able to rush him down enough to where he can't get to the top end right away. So it just depends on if Dom can see his OP8 choppers. So it looks like both players rolled 7s here. Ben with an 11 here and Dom not having enough. So Ben in a position to where potentially he might take first to take the curve away from Zoro, which is what he is opting to do here, which still could be risky because if Dom opens up with the 1-cost red event, shut up and come with me, he will still be able to flood the board on Ben's side, on Ben's turn here. So it looks like Ben might have power shuffled there. So yeah, Dom going second potentially might open up with a 1-cost, potentially Nami or Dr. Correa to look for pieces that he's looking for. Correa will only be able to allow him to grab Drum Kingdom characters or 2020 choppers, whereas Nami will allow him to look for a Straw Hat type character. So different pieces to be able to be found with whichever searcher is found. And Shanks is opening up here with just a Don and pass, passing over to Dom here. Again, if he has a 1-cost, which is what he looks like to have, and ends up finding Nami, which isn't allowing him to dig for 5, whereas Correa, I believe, is 4. And able to find, looks like it might be a whiff. Nami cannot find itself. So you do see a double Makino and the Hippo. So very, very unfortunate there for Dom's opening search there. Bottom decks the entire thing. Down 1 card in hand. Not able to find the chopper here. I potentially doesn't even have the 1-cost event, which is why Ben's passed there instead of swinging. So no 3-down turn play for Ben's Jammin here. Looks like Dom is potentially going to swing 6. Maybe has a Rush Zoro in hand here. Oh, here is the chopper. So at least the chopper will be able to look at top 5 for an animal card here, which we do see the bear here, the hiking bear. Also EBO1 chopper, which is a blocker chopper. I believe 2 Don attached will be able to reduce something by 3,000 if I'm not mistaken. Very good blocker, which will be able to be used for board control. And we do see Ben starting to pressure the rest of Chopper, which is the right thing to do. You don't want to leave it on the field there. Swinging just for 5. Potentially has a Marco for a KO of at least one of these characters. Yep, so Marco ends up hitting the field, KOing the Nami. Very smart for Dom on you know, countering out to protect this Tony chopper here. However, dwindling the hand size for Dom here, no 2K. But this chopper will be able to swing and flood the board with another animal character, potentially finding the other Tony chopper that can play out another one from hand. Opting to swing 6 with that chopper here is going to do the search from the top 5. Again, maybe looking for the OP4 chopper and is unable to find it. You do see the another OP8 chopper in that search. Ooh, Rush Luffy, very, very good card from the new starter deck. He's going to choose to attach it down onto the chopper to potentially get another big swing in here. So Dom here is taking the aggressive approach here. Instead of attaching, swinging for 7 and leave the blocker up, is just going to try to just pressure the life here for Ben, bringing him down to 2 life, which I believe is the approach you have to take in this Shanks matchup. You don't want to let him get to the top end here. Once he establishes 10-drop Shanks, reducing the board, it kind of just negates Dom's leader ability in a way. 3 cards in Dom's hand, not going to be much to protect the field here. Dom debating on countering out this Tony chopper. If he does, you know, will not have enough counter to protect potentially this chopper. Yep, this is the chopper he would need to protect if able to. And ends up giving him 2 1Ks again. Not sure how much counter Zoro typically runs, but a lot of 1Ks in hand is not what he wants to see. We did see that he did bottom deck a lot of his 2K counters in the first Nami search, that being the Makinos. Very unfortunate they're losing that Rush Luffy as well to be able to attach a Rested Dawn on swing. 8 Dawn left, potentially might have a Dragon play. There he goes, the Dragon. We'll be able to attach the Dawn to his leader to at least buff his field, that being the Tony chopper, to at least swing for 6, forcing Ben to use his leader ability here if he doesn't have a 2K, and be able to play out another body from the top of the deck. And another Hiking Bear. Although these Hiking Bears don't have much attack stat, once he's able to start attaching Dawn, he will be able to buff up an animal, which they can buff up each other. And Ben already down to absolutely no life. Something to worry about because Zoro also now has access to that new Sanji from Starter Deck 21, which can give something unblockable. I believe just has to be a Straw Hat, so potentially even giving it to his leader here. It's the new Diable with a 2K on it. So no, it has to be on a character. Cannot give it to a leader. So kind of snoozing. Needs this Tony chopper to stick, but does not have the counter to be able to protect it. So unless he's able to find Diable Jambe, he's going to have to keep pushing forward. Yeah, Hibby. I just noticed that. Just pulled it up on TCG Player to verify it. So Chopper gets cleared. Potentially he is running the starter deck 1 Luffy, which has unblockable, but not sure how big of a hand size Ben has here. Could potentially counter out. But again, Shanks can go either way. It can either have all the counter or absolutely none. Might be opting to swing at the Dragon here. Yep. And even with one card in hand, it's going to be able to clear the dragon. A 2K isn't going to be able to do much here. And Ben clearing up Dom's field here, which is the correct thing to do. So Shanks has 8 cards in hand right here. Lucky Roo being one of these blockers that can pretty much knock anything that Dom plays out onto the field. I see an event in Dom's hand here, but not sure which one it was. Looks like he's trying to map out a swing here. If he's going to swing, the Hiking Bear needs to swing first. If not, Ben will be able to block with the Lucky Roo and KO the Hiking Bear. Oh, yep, there goes the Mulgun. Oh, very unfortunate. Dom forgot. Dom forgot about the Lucky Roo's ability checking original cost. Could have potentially knocked the Ben Beckman. Yeah, he would have been able to at least knock the Ben Beckman, getting it down to 2 and KOing it, removing some pressure off the field here. Then swinging big with the Hiking Bear, potentially getting the Lucky Roo regardless. So ends up using a Divine Departure there to counter out. And here comes another Chopper trying to flood the board once again. He sees that blocker Chopper once again. Very dependent on what Ben plays here. Might need to be able to remove. Should be able to clear the blocker Chopper with ease, but needs to remove the OP8 Chopper that floods the board here while also walling up. Looks like I do see a raise max out of the corner of that screen there. Very interesting tech being used there. I don't think I've seen that much in Shanks. It is a good way to reduce and get rid of characters as well. And Ben finally swinging into Dom here. Looks like Dom might have a trigger. Chooses to use -5 on the Ben Beckman to prevent one other swing here in the same turn. I potentially would have taken the swing just to give yourself another option there, maybe a different rush card to be able to pressure next turn. And we do see Ben now starting to put some type of wall up. However, now that this Tony Chopper is on the field, will he be able to use this? Yes, it is a straw hat tag. So if Dom finds this Sanji, he will be able to make this Tony Chopper unblockable and try to go in for at least one big swing, bypassing the Rayleigh here. It's like going for another rush here, attaching it, will buff up that Luffy that is rushing here. Potentially gonna see a leader ability with a 2K. Yep, there it goes. Still has 5 Dawn left. Maybe gonna swing a little bit bigger with the Chopper here. Looks like opting to probably go 7 here. like he might be going 7 and 10 with leader the turn after, unless potentially finding, unless he has a rush Zoro in hand, which he might not, but he's going to have to swing big with this Zoro here. Like Ben debating on exactly what to do. He's gonna have to give him counter from hand and hold on to this Rayleigh. Oh, there goes Red Hawk. Red Hawk unable to KO that blocker chopper since the Zoro is giving him the extra 1k buff, and he also already used his leader ability for the turn. So Dom at least being able to protect his board from that Red Hawk, as well as get rid of the blocker here. 3 cards in life. Ben has potential 3 swings here. Maybe might opt trying to play out a 10 drop and just trying to go lethal, which probably isn't the move here. However, if Ben doesn't have any more blockers, he might not be left with much options here, to be honest with you. Checking out the chat. Blaze, welcome in. Very fun game to play, One Piece. Very, very fun. I think it's pretty easy to pick up as well. Locals are pretty friendly out here, so you will be able to learn from a lot of people. I know people bring out starter decks to just start trying to learn. This is me. This is James on stream right now. Not in the match, but you do hear my voice on here. So Ben's trying to math it out right here. It's pretty much all or nothing. Not sure if he's got another rush card in hand. It's a pretty rough spot, especially with Dom still having 3 life. This is where it comes to, like, you're trying to play around not swinging into the Zoro, especially if they leave 1 Don up. You don't want to let them flood the board, but sometimes it could be a bluff. A lot of the time it isn't, but there is that rare chance that it is a bluff. And we do see Ben swinging 7 at Dom's life here. Potentially might have a rush dragon and might try to swing another 7 with his leader. Maybe 8 with his leader if he's got a rush dragon here. Might swing 8, 9 potential math here. And Dom ends up taking it. Yep, looks like we're tapping 8 Don here, and it is a rush dragon. Gonna attach it to leader and swing for 8. This is gonna be an 8-9 if Dom did not get any 2K counters, which we do see a Makino. Not seeing what the rest is. Exactly enough counter to get out of it, and that is game in Dom's favor there. What's up? I said, what's up? Huh? He's got what he needs. You want to come over and talk? So we are going to get a guest here that you guys have been wanting to see. So we do got Hart here now.
Oh, shit.
It's professional, no?
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
So we do got Hart here. I know a lot of the chat wanted to see him. We do have Zent there.
Oh, shit. What's good, Zent?
So very unfortunate there. Ben was just trying to go lethal. Did have the dragon in hand. Mapped it out perfectly. Dom was just able to see exactly what needed out of life for counter there.
Yeah, he had double 2Ks. Not really anything you can do about that.
So
I didn't see the whole thing, obviously, because I just finished. But I came up and I saw what was going on.
It was just a lot of board control on the Shank side. As they want to do is keep Dom under control. As they turn sideways, you want to go into them. As they go sideways. So played it very well. It was just Dom being able to keep the board pressure going on with these OP8 choppers. He kept that pressure going.
Yo, that card is crazy.
It's a very good card.
If you can get a couple of them on board, you can keep up the pressure with Zoro.
Exactly.
Otherwise, Shanks will be able to gain control of the game and then
Yeah,
slow
and
you down.
that was the other thing. It forced Ben to have to block her up and not play as aggressive as they typically would want to, especially with Dom poking at him 5, 6, 7, and him having to take a lot of the life or dump cards.
Yo, X3 already is crazy, Johnny. Let's not lie.
But yeah, a lot of the chat did want to see you up there. What is the record right now?
I'm 2-1. I lost at Ben round 1, so.
Oh, so the person we just won.
Yeah. So.
Well, potentially we get you up on the next one. We know you are running Usopp today.
Yeah.
Any spicy text you're running in it, or are you trying to keep it a secret?
I don't know. I just Hound Blaze. I don't know.
Hound Blaze is interesting.
Oh shit! I forgot I have a fantasy baseball draft starting in 10 minutes too. So maybe. Oh fuck.
Deciding what you want to do.
Excuse my language. Sorry. I forgot I'm on stream. But yeah, I mean, I'll go on stream. I don't care. Whatever you guys want. Although since I am X1, I don't know if you want to keep the undefeateds going.
I know they have been wanting to keep it undefeated. Let's see how it's looking.
So, I mean, that's
here.
fine with me. It doesn't really matter.
Looks like we got a couple. Maybe they could get a pickup game up. Who knows? They did want to see the forearm, specifically Zent, and I forgot who else.
Probably Fee.
I think it was Fee. Yep.
Yeah, Fee, where is Heart? Oh my God.
Hey, they're looking for Shecky, and then they got you.
Shaq never. X4's on stream? Yeah.
He said X4s.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to win one, and then maybe they'll let me on. Show the forearms. You'll have to see. We'll have to wait till I'm on stream.
There you just gave
there you go.
glimpse.
There you go. I didn't even do that on purpose, bro. I was literally just going to scratch my nose.
Is that what we want to go for?
Oh my God, bro.
But what were the matchups so far? You did face Ben, obviously, which was Shanks.
It was Shanks. Then it was Black Purple Luffy, which was kind of fine. He didn't really do anything. I don't know. I was able to remove everything, and then it was a Bello Betty just now. Oh, which was fine. I don't know. It was actually a little scary. I almost lost the end because he had a Lindbergh trigger, and he was able to KO my blocker with the swing. But
do you just stall them out and just kind of just bait them out, swing into it, and pop as they go?
Yeah, I mean, that was my first time playing that matchup. I didn't even swing at their life until I was on like 8 or 9 Don or something. And then as soon as he played 2 of the what's the 6-cost blocker that takes a life?
Oh, the koala.
Yeah, so he'd already played 2 of those, so he took so he was at 2 life already, and I swung 1 time for 6. He took it. It was a Lindbergh, and I was like, oh well.
just unfortunate.
Yeah. So then so I just didn't swing again, and then he popped my blocker, had a rusher, but I had enough counter in hand. So
yeah, typically I feel like it's just taking it very slow against them, but you never know against it.
Yeah.
It looks like we got Shecky in the chat now.
Oh, there is Shek. Hard on stream, bro. I lost already.
Hey, highly requested. Maybe you just end up on the stream.
Bro, I mean, like I said, I'll do it. I have no problem with it.
You just want to see they want to see the forearms. That's all it is.
Bro, dude, I don't like this meme. Like, it makes me feel uncomfortable.
Hey. Showing off the goods on stream at regionals will do that to you. But we still got about 10 minutes before the players go into overtime, so we will be taking a short break here while the players finish up the rounds. Looks like no one's up on the top table, so there will be no pickup game. You are going to be seeing the Be Right Back screen this time around, and we'll be right back. All right, and we are back. That was a little long of a break there. As requested by the entire stream here, we are going to have Hart go up here right now. So kind of deterring from the undefeateds here. There are 2 undefeated or 4 undefeateds going, so there will be one more round for the final. So we are going to get one Hart game in, and it's going to be Hart versus Darth Erraticus here. So we do have Hart on Usopp, and he's going to be facing an Anel here. So not sure how this matchup goes, but potentially might be rough for the Usopp here. However, this being post bans, Enel should not have access to Raigo. So not sure how that really skews Enel for the removal. There you go. Looks like Hart decided to keep it here. And looks like Hart is going to be starting here first. So potentially starting off with the Leo here, which is going to allow him to search. I believe 2 cards here. Haven't seen much of the OP10 meta yet, especially this Usopp. So ends up grabbing 2 cards there. And he's going to have to discard as well. So not sure. More than likely, the Enel is going to be taking their normal approach of basically stalling and establishing bodies. And you do see him using the Flampe to take his own life and drawing one, building their hand size like a normal Enel play would. And I finally pulled up this Leo here. So he's rest his leader. Look at the top 5 cards. Grab 2 Dressrosa and then trash 1. So a good hand filter. Oh. Establishing this Bartolomeo, which is going to be a 4 cost due to Usopp's ability. Still going to be in range for a potential Gadatsu play if Darth Erraticus does have it. Depending if he decides to stall here. And he establishes that blocker Shirahoshi, which cannot be KO'd, or it could be KO'd, but will be giving a life to the Enel player here, which typically usually does not get KO'd at all. Now going down to 2 life, taking that 5K swing. Again, Enel is very comfortable with taking early hits early on since they do want to just stay at that 1 life. And Hart grabbing Patchwork off that Rebecca. And those of you that don't know what the Frankie does is on KO will be able to bring back a 3 cost or rested, or 3 cost or less Dressrosa character from the trash, potentially grabbing that Bartolomeo that is in the trash right now. And there goes that Gadatsu, is KOing that Barto and allowing Hart to be able to draw off that with his leader abilities. He is under 5 cards in hand. We do see the BY slander in the chat by Johnny Tsunami there. Hey, they just got that new promo. Very nice promo. So at the 7 Dawn turn, could potentially establish Rebecca if he has it and reveal 2 cards from his hand to play it out. But maybe even a Kyro's Chain, be able to bounce maybe the Gadatsu back to hand to take some pressure off, or even the Shirahoshi to get that blocker out. Is swinging 5 to lead here, potentially trying to get him down in range for potential just building the board here. Getting an L to that 1 life range can be a little risky though, especially that's where they want to be at. Very interesting that he decides to take the life there. going to be only at 8 Dawn next turn. Surprising he's taking it. Oh, 0 cost event as well. So he's going to be able to heal twice here with that being in the life. So he's going to be able to heal twice with that 0 cost event. Very disgusting thing. Johnny was unable to KO the Barto, or was unable to KO the Frankie, since the Frankie is considered a 5 cost with that Usopp ability, whereas Barto was a 4. Heart is sitting at 4 life currently. So his swinging 5 at that Rebecca is going to get the draw off the KO. Is going to Katakuri the Frankie to the bottom of Heart's life, so isn't not going to be able to bring back a 3 cost from the trash here. And here comes what Enel likes to do best, and it's essentially stall and stack life here, because now both sitting at 7. If Heart establishes a 7 cost, a Yamato will be able to KO a 7 cost body onto the field. And here comes that new, not a new card, but a card from, I believe, OP4, which is that patchwork, which will give something -3. And it's essentially replacing Ice Age now. And we do see that Hina giving it another -4, getting it down to a 1 cost here. Potentially might follow up with a Zoro here for the KO. Oh, does Hound Blaze, which is very interesting tech that he was talking about, is going to be able to bottom deck the Katakuri and buff the Leo by 3. So he's going to swing for 5 at the NL here with just that little Leo. And establishes another Solomon. Sakazuki at home. It does got the same colors. It's as close as you're going to get. So that Suleiman on play when attacking field leader has it just throws attack. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 during this turn. Trash a card from the top. So this is going to have that -4 reduction on the field there as well for whatever big body Darth Erraticus decides to play. And here comes the Yamato chain. Is going to KO one of these Solomon and heal one on an L side. See if Heart can keep up with the consistent removal. So it looks like he's going to grab the Rebecca and the Zoro off this Leo search, and is going to have to trash one more card from his hand. And the Coliseum is the best card to pitch, since now that thing is basically a brick in the hand now that he already has one established. So is just going to swing and reduce the Yamato, not attaching any Don, so no, not being able to take the life like it probably wanted to here. Does Heart have another patchwork for a reduce? Oh. Ends up grabbing Jack off that Rebecca, reducing it by 4, and is probably going to establish the Zoro here. And is able to KO the Yamato. And this is exactly what Heart needs to do here. Being able to keep the NL board under control, removing the bodies as they are being played out, while going wide himself. However, he's only down to 3 cards in hand, so not going to be able to protect much. Darth Erraticus might potentially establish another Yamato here. KO. Potentially the Zoro is going to be the one thing he's going to want to KO off the board here from Heart's side of the field. Very interesting. So Kuzan on play is gonna bottom deck. Actually, I don't think the Kuzan will work here since the Suleiman is technically a 4 cost due to Usopp's leader ability, and Kuzan can only bottom deck a 3 cost or lower. Yeah, no, that Suleiman definitely should not have been bottom decked. Looking at Usopp ability here, it should have gave it that 1 cost buff, so putting it just out of range for that Kuzan. So definitely a misplay there. Suleiman should have been basically all of Hartsfield would have had that protection with that 1 cost buff, or I believe just the Dressrosa. Gotta mess with the life here. He's gonna use a 200 million volts. Have not seen this card in a while, so is gonna rest the Rebecca here, give his leader a buff, and might try to go for a clear of the Hina. 9 at the Rebecca is very interesting. Could have swung at the Hina for 9 and then swung at the Rebecca with the flambe that he played from turn 1. Seven cards in Anel's hand here, thanks to that flambe. Very unfortunate that the Suleiman is in Heart's life. Would have been able to get at least a -4 reduction since he is establishing another one right here. And is going to establish the Jack that will be able to KO that Gedatsu. Like Heart's trying to figure out what he's got in the trash here to pitch here for that Jack ability. Ends up pitching a Frankie there. KOs the Gedatsu. At least being able to keep the board somewhat clear from the aggression on the Anel side, leaving him only with the Kuzan here. Not sure if Dark Eradicus has another big body here, potentially an Ace to give him rush, or another Yamato for a heal. Not sure. It looks like Ryan only has 2 cards in hand, so it's not going to be much reduction from Heart's side of the field. And establishing the Yamato will be able to get rid of the Suleiman on the field. That is the only reduction that he currently has. Is swinging 12 at the Jack, basically guaranteeing that the Jack will not be able to stick with, basically mapping it out based off Heart's hand, which is what you want to do here. And establishing an X-Drake, resting the Suleiman so you'd be able to swing into it with the Kuzan here, and being able to clear as well. Does get the draw off the Suleiman being knocked there. Up to 4 cards. Looks like Darth Eradicus is starting to take the advantage here. Heart running out of options. like he's going to swing over the Kuzan here, potentially. Oh. Looks like declared 5K to leader there. More than likely just going to be a counter here for Darth Eradicus. Hart does only have 2 more swings, that being the Zoro and leader here. Would have been real good if Hart was able to establish a 7-cost Dressrosa Luffy from OP4. Ends up clearing the X-Drake off leader swing. Not sure why. Darth could have potentially protected it. However, Hart does have at least 1 more swing. Not sure if he doesn't have much counter. And is going to use the Zoro to KO the Kuzan here, leaving Darth with just the Flampe's and the 1 Shirahoshi. Oh, here comes the Rebecca being able to grab something from the trash, potentially grabbing Jack again. Yep, there goes the Jack. Looks like that is going to be Hart's only form of removal currently, or at least consistent form of removal if it can stick. There is a good chance that he does deck out. And we do see a Yamato being established, swinging 6 at the Hina, clearing both bodies. Hart does draw off that Rebecca knock here. And look for one down. Maybe he's got some type of, oh, going for a Leo. Oh, I'm not sure how many cards he's got left in the deck, but it's looking looking very thin from where I can see it right now. At least Hart's gonna be able to go out on his own terms and not by taking all his life here. Is gonna search the Rebecca and the Frankie there. At least they're gonna have to pitch 1 from that Leo ability. Yep. He's got 9 cards left in the deck here. It's looking like Hart might deck himself out. Ends up trashing the Jack there. Comes the EBO1 Brook, which will on play give something -1 and be able to knock. So we'll be able to potentially remove 1 of these Flampes, but opts to not knock 1 of them. At this point, probably opting to go wide here to just swing out with everything on the board this upcoming turn. Let's see, maybe another Yamato chain here to knock 1 of the Zoros. So Darth Erratic is asking what the Frankie does, and for those of you that are unfamiliar, it will, on KO, bring back a 3-cost or less Dressrosa character back arrested onto the field here. Potentially might be able to establish maybe an ace. It won't have rush since it will heal him back to 3. But we'll be able to at least establish another big body to potentially start mowing down Hart on the upcoming turn. Oh, opts to do Nami for board clearing here. Opts to KO the Brook. Potentially the Zoro would have been a little better, but it is preventing Hart from being able to draw, so it might be the correct choice there. And is establishing another Shirahoshi here for protection. Double Shirahoshi. If Hart decides to knock them with ability, he will heal as well. So Darth playing it how Enel typically would, just slow and steady, walling up as he is going, and knocking Hart's characters off. I believe Hart is now currently down to 8 cards in the deck with the draw. I know he might have the Rebecca in hand, but not sure what that will do at this point. And now down to 4 cards in hand as well. So not much counter. Does have the 2 blockers on the board though. Potentially, if he has another Hound Blaze in hand, could bottom deck one of the Share Hoshis here. Yeah, Hound Blaze will be able to bottom deck one of these Share Hoshis. It does check for a 2 cost. And we do see a Tempest Kick, -3, potentially going to put it on the Yamato, yep. Down to 7 cards in the deck now. We do see, looks like he has a Hina in hand, which will give another -4 to that Yamato as well, bringing it down to a 2 cost. So if he does have a Hound Blaze, we'll be able to get rid of the Yamato. And give the Leo another 3K buff like he did earlier in the matchup. Are trying to figure out exactly how to go about this. Has it in mind that he is in range for potentially milling out and losing. Johnny. Potentially might consider going wide. Clearing the Yamato would probably be ideal here as well. Yep, so here comes the Hina. Minusing, I believe he chose the Nami there. Might Rebecca and Brooke. Oh no, just playing out the Brooke. So he's gonna pass, opts not to swing, which is probably the correct thing to do. You don't want to swing and potentially now triggering something else that could benefit him. There is still a chance that the Nell player does have another 0 cost in life like he did earlier and healing twice, so you can never count a Nell out for the events that he will get out of life. But potentially might be looking at, again, another potential Yamato, maybe a Katakuri. If he establishes an ace, this makes it a lot more difficult for Hart here since he will heal off aces on play. But not sure if Dark the Radicus does have that. So Darth is asking to ensure what is getting the 1 cost buff from the Usopp leader and is opting to play the X-Drake to rest the Brook here and probably gonna swing over it. Has only 2 cards in hand, is gonna opt to swing 8 at the Brook here. Leaving himself with 4 Don left, potentially maybe another blocker. Oh, looks like he's gonna start swinging at Hart's life here. Finally taking the first hit of the game. I believe he should be at 6 cards. I did not see that there. No, these are not XOs. Currently X1s. We threw up heart on stream since it was requested by everyone on the chat here. So requested by you guys, we did throw it up there. And we see Darth Erraticus taking all those life, using his leader ability there, getting another 7. There goes the first blocker Shirahoshi there. Getting another 7k swing in with the Hina. Will you give him the last Shirahoshi? Nope, here comes a 0-cost event. Getting out of it, and is going to clear that X-Drake as well and establish a Rebecca blocker here. So definitely pressured the Enel here, getting him back down to 1 life. Obviously, it is okay for him to take 1 because he's going to get the automatic heal from leader ability. However, he is able to find some type of options in that last life. It's kind of a free cycle for them. So there's going to be 1 more round after this, and that will be the true undefeateds for the tournament for today. And is going to swing 9 at the Enel, or the Hina, blocking with the Rebecca, and we do see the ace finally hitting the board, clearing that Hina and healing 1. I believe he's only down to 5 cards in the trash now. Oh, no, 5 card trash. 4 cards in the deck. Hart sticking it out here. Darth up to 2 life as well. Seven-cost Luffy is definitely what he needs here. Poking for 5, ends up giving him a 1k counter there. And swinging for a 6 with the Zoro here. Is able to counter out with a 2k. There goes the 2 one-legged soldiers there. Is going to reduce that ace down by 6 and establish a Zoro for the knock there. Going down to 2 cards in hand now. Or 2 cards in the deck. Oh, unable to knock it. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure it was KO'd by the Zoro. Not sure why it was still on the field. Looking it up to make sure. But definitely might change. And Hart ends up conceding. No matter what, he was about to mill out right there, and he did realize that. Did not want to just have Darth go through the motion there. So, very unfortunate. Hart setting up. If he would have been able to establish that 7-cost Luffy from OP4, would have been in a better position there. Just very unfortunate, not able to see it. Also, just a stall factor of it. Definitely the misplay from the Kuzan, tucking that Suleiman into his life, which shouldn't have happened since it was 1 cost up from the Usopp leader ability as well. So technically a 4 cost should not have been tucked. Only the Hina would have been in range for that. Yeah, he would have lost a deck out. Potentially Erraticus was just going to go for board swings, clearing the board, and then just going to go lethal potentially the turn after. So looks like we are, for the finals, going to see Brother Bear and looks like Dom. So we did see Dom earlier in the stream, which is going to be a Zoro. I believe it might actually be another Zoro Shanks matchup if I'm not mistaken. So I'll get that ready. Hey Johnny, it should have been you that knocked him. But yeah, those of you guys that are from the Chicagoland area, this is the start of Sully Abode new league. It started today. There's going to be a new format, essentially basically taking the top 10 players from their point system and whoever wins a weekly league to be able to go and enter into a tournament. And they are going to have a loser's bracket as well. So definitely very fun time to check it out. Potentially all you got to do is get one win and call it until it's the big tournament time. So I know there's a couple people in chat. Wimmy, Shecky, I know you guys have come and farmed some of these tournaments here at the Abode. Definitely a good chance to get into another big tournament, steal from Sully. Always some good stuff to steal from the man. Looks like they're almost done. Potentially looks like one or two more games. Looks like one more game going on right now. And then we are going to be going on to the final match, that being a Shanks versus Zoro. Dom versus Brother Bear. See who could win it, get into Sully's, will be the first person to enter into Sully's tournament. So it'll be very exciting to see who gets to get that entry in there. So we'll be right back with a little short break here while these guys finish up, and be right back to the finals. All right, and we are back going into the finals here. Like I stated, it is going to be Dom and Brother Bear. So it's going to be another Zoro versus Shanks here. Dom opting to go first this game here, which is essentially what Zoro wants to do here. They are going to want to just search their turn one if he opens up with a Kureha or a Nami. And look for their animal pieces here, 2020 choppers or something. Brother Bear potentially going to be looking for some early game plays. Gum Gum Red Hawks as well is going to be good for him here, especially if he finds a Red Hawk going into this turn one play for Dom if he establishes this Zoro as well. Rooting for Zoro. Dom is actually one of our new players here around at the Abode, so very excited to actually see him here at the top tables here. Been cycling through multiple decks, Pluffy, Dofi, and it finally looks like he's settled on Zoro after these bans. RIP to Jinbei for his Dofi deck. But Dom has consistently shown that he is fairly good at the game. I believe at the last league towards the end, ended up getting second place at one of the locals and potentially going to go for a win here today. And here goes Dom. Looks like he does find a search, and it is the Dr. Correa, which is going to allow him to look at the top four in Drum Island, I believe Animal, or a 2020 Chopper for sure. The classic One Piece TCG Leader Crisis. That is what a lot of people are having. This new meta has definitely opened up a lot of different decks to come out. And it's going to just be Don and Pass for Brother Bear there. Again, if he has a Gum Gum Red Hawk, is going to be able to knock one of these bodies off. Potentially the Kureha here. Dom looking at his options. Potentially going to play out that 2020 Chopper, which will allow him to play out another character. And does swing 5 with leader. Shank's going to use his ability to prevent the swing to go through and establish the 2020 Chopper to Hiking Bear, which is going to be a great combo here because the Hiking Bear will be able to buff the 2020 Chopper as well with the leader ability too. Dom just take, and this is the perfect card for Brother Bear to establish here. He will be able to block one of the swings and be able to knock another one of Dom's characters since Lucky Roo will check for an original cost or original attack stat, which is something that Dom did not play around in his last match. It's a pretty interesting situation. Dom might take the same approach as last time, and that is rushing down the Shanks player. But with the Lucky Roo here, it is going to be able to alleviate some of that pressure here. And we do see the combo here. Zoro buffing all the characters on the field. However, that extra Don will buff up the 2020 Chopper off of that Hiking Bear ability. So now swinging 6K with that 2020 Chopper. Is going to use his leader ability to reduce the Zoro leader down and block with the Lucky Roo to KO the Hiking Bear. So Zoro is still going to be able to swing this turn for just a 5. And he's going to opt to swing big. Swinging looks like 7K. Instead, opts to swing for 5, potentially just saving those 2 down for that Kureha to swing one more time this turn. Brother Bear debating on whether to counter out and ends up countering out with the bend Beckman. Potentially trying to stay healthy here from the aggression that the Zoro will be able to do here. And establishes a Nami, which potentially digging for the OP08 chopper, which we did see him consistently flood the board last game. And opts to get the starter 21 Luffy, which is probably the best thing in that search there, which does have rush and on attack will give his leader a Don, which will also give him the Zoro buff and swing for 7K compared to the 6. So Dom putting Brother Bear in a situation where he's going to have to now swing at the board and start clearing up some of these smaller bodies here, or potentially play out something like KO some of what is on the field, potentially a Marco here. Oh, does his own starter 21 Luffy, swinging at the chopper here for 6K. Dom, best probably just going to let it go here. Going to have to be 2Ks, 2 and a 1K to protect it. And we do see here Brother Bear swinging at the board. Just the correct thing to do against Zoro. You do not want to let these little bodies stick on the field, since Zoro is just going to stack down and swing at it. Bonnie is up. Bonnie's definitely up with this new meta. So Dom is going to establish his own starter 21 Luffy here. He's going to attach one of these rested Dons onto his leader, which is going to swing 7. I believe he's declared his leader here. And if this starter 21 Luffy can stick for Dom, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage to Brother Bear, especially if he starts chaining potential dragons to buff up his leader or another character, since the Don from this Luffy will be able to just attach onto the Zoro as well. Here goes another 6K swing to leader here, trying to rush him down like he did last game. And another 6K swing with this Nami, chaining the Makino effect here. Brother Bear ends up countering out, which again now this Makino being left sideways is probably going to be another target that Brother Bear is going to want to get rid of here. If he has a Rayleigh, he'll be in a really good position to reduce this Luffy down by 3 and potentially the Nami just to get it down to 0 and knock the Makino, swing over the Nami, and just pressure this Luffy as well. Potential board clear here for Brother Bear. However, you do see one Don up on Dom's side of the field as well, which could signify that he might have the one cost event, Shut Up and Come With Me, to flood the board with another chopper. Dom sitting at 5 cards in hand right now currently as well. And tapping a potential Rayleigh play here, and there it is. Rayleigh reducing that Luffy by 3 and the Nami by 2. Ends up knocking the Luffy, which is also a good choice. Thought it was out of range, but I forgot it is a 6K stat. I've been hearing 7s, but that is due to the Zoro ability there. And here is that board clear here for Brother Bear. So putting himself in a very good position here. And again, we saw that that one Don up was a potential bluff of having that one cost event here. Oh, actually, Dom just declared that he forgot to do something. So potentially did have that one cost event, actually, which we do see it in hand right there. Has 2 of them. Definitely a slight misplay there for Dom. Would have had a body on the field, potentially having that chopper, and would have been able to swing and put another body on the field this turn. Shanks is sitting at 5 cards in hand right now. Zoro potentially going to start. Actually, Zoro's in a pretty rough spot here, to be honest. 9 Don, potential dragon play. Could swing over the Luffy here. Swinging 6 to leader. 6 is also a very good number to swing into Shanks, since it is going to require him to use the leader ability and still pitch a card no matter what, compared to just 5. And we do see that 2K counter there. And here comes that chopper from earlier, playing a double chopper. Unfortunate, looks like he does not have the other animals in hand to chain the flooding of the board there. Could have potentially had 4 characters on the field there. And finally at 10 drop, could establish the rush Shanks, which again will just essentially negate the Zoro ability here, since it will just reduce the whole field by 1K, which still does a lot, since it is going to have to force Dom to establish more than he would like to be able to swing with his field. And he's going to be able to swing 3 times here. So we do see the event finally come off, Shut Up and Come With Me, which is going to allow him to search the top 5 for a 2020 chopper, which we do see the OP10 one right there. Oh no, it's the EBO one. Looks like the OP08 chopper is eluding Dom here. Very unfortunate for him. But is going to do it twice, so is still going to be able to establish 4 bodies here. But again, this Shanks on Brother Bear's side of the field is going to reduce everything by 1,000. And establishes a double EBO1 chopper here. And Dom ends up taking the swing. And it's just going to be a barrage of 6, 8, and 12 from Brother Bear's side of the field here. Potential no counter in Dom's hands. That's what it's looking to shape out like. However, he does have at least a blocker chopper as well on the field, so he will be able to at least get out of one of these swings if he wants to. Also going down to 0 life, he's going to have to play around a Goldie Roger as well. I know Shanks do run it at a potential 1 of, so you don't want to get yourself down to 0 completely. But losing these choppers is very unfortunate. Would have been able to use the chopper's ability. I think attaching 2 Don and swinging to give something -3. And here goes the Nami search, looking for top 5 here for a Straw Hat type character. Finding the Luffy here, and oh, it looks like we're gonna be joined by Tony now. How'd your locals go?
Tony Chopper. 3-2 record. Not bad.
3-2's not bad for someone that plays Pokemon.
Not bad for someone who plays Nico Robin.
And that as well. Nico Robin is a very interesting deck.
Ooh, we got Animal Zoro.
Animal Zoro versus Shanks here. Zoro being in a rough situation here, having the 10-drop Shanks on the other side of the field. So even though he is attaching 1 Don onto his leader, essentially the 1K buff isn't going to really happen here. So very unfortunate for Dom. However, he's also in a pretty bad spot here because next turn, Brother Bear has lethal on board, and Dom only has one blocker to hide behind. He's going to have to essentially remove some of these characters on Brother Bear's side of the field.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you could chopper, play out 3 blocker choppers.
He's been digging. He's been digging and been able to not find that chopper.
That's tough.
So is swinging 5 with this chopper, which could have been a 6K if this 10-drop Shanks was not on the field. So it's going to just start poking here at Brother Bear.
Yeah, about these zoo builds, it is very annoying for the opposing deck to just try to counter out of a bunch of tiny little 5K swings.
It is, and then that's what Dom wants to do. He wants to be able to flood the board, get as many little pokes in as possible, because at best, Shanks can only leader ability one of them.
Yep.
And he's going to have to pitch if he wants to stay healthy here. And Dom was just unable to get that pressure going since Brother Bear established the Lucky Root early on in the game, but blocking one, popping another one of the characters, and just continues swinging over the rested bodies of Dom here.
Yeah, nothing sticks in Shanks.
No, it all comes down to being able to outpace him. And Dom did a very good job in doing that in his earlier match against Shanks and is unable to replicate it in this matchup, unfortunately.
Does he play the 3-cost Rush Zoro as well, the 3/5?
That I don't know. I did ask him after the match. He was buying one at the counter, but I don't think he has it in the deck currently. And that is something that can also be utilized. 3 Don, very cheap, and we'll be able to swing for 6 with a Don attached on leader. So it's just pressure that can be done. And searchable off Nami as well.
That is true.
So it looks like Brother Bear deciding on how to counter here. It's a pretty rough spot. If he doesn't have counter, oh, Dom's going for a whole 5K swing across the board here.
Swinging with the blocker.
4 Don. Oh, no. Looks like 5 Don left. Might opt to go for that Rush Luffy starter 21 that he found. Yep, which we do see that starter 21 right there at the top there. Brother Bear countering out, staying at 2 life here. Is going to swing 7, however, with that Shanks. It is actually a 6K. So they had to make sure that they realize that earlier in the day we did have a Foxy player. Having Foxy on the field and taking free swings that he shouldn't have. And that is game. Regardless, Brother Bear did have a Goldie Roger as well to go for lethal. So Brother Bear is our winner of today's locals. So
Congratulations.
is going to earn his way into the Abode's Winners League here. So
You want a winner?
very good for Brother Bear there. And again, can be won by winning the Wednesday locals, which I believe is going to be 8 weeks long here at the Abode. Other than that, is going to have the option of at least getting in the top 10 for point placement, which is getting wins, which I believe you get 3 points per win, 1 point per loss. You get points for bringing someone new to league, as well as wearing some type of one piece or Sully's Abode product to get an extra point. So very casual format for the players as well to still be in that range. And if you don't make the Winners League, there is a losers bracket is what they are calling it. Not sure what the potential names are going to be. You could pay to try to earn your way. I believe top 8 will earn their way into that Winners League as well. So a lot of options to be able to get into this tournament that they are trying to push out here. So stay tuned. Tune in every Wednesday is when Abode is going to have their stream up. Potentially I'll be commentating it. Maybe I'll play next week. Who knows how I feel. But as always, make sure you guys are following the Twitch channel here at Sully's Abode. It was streaming on the YouTube channel, Sully's Abode as well. So definitely subscribe to that channel. It was streaming on my own channel as well today, SGTCG, so there is that as well. A lot of POVs that I put up on there from my point of view when I do go to locals and get to play. So, as always, thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week for One Piece.